want to thank you for joining me for class today. Please consult with your healthcare physician prior to starting or changing your exercise regimen. Please also make sure that when you attend this class that you are preparing yourself to succeed by wearing the proper equipment and having an area for which you can work out in that is free of any trip hazards. With your equipment, you want to make sure that you're wearing good, comfortable shoes as well as comfortable bottoms, whether they be pants, shorts, or otherwise. You also want to make sure that you're wearing a top that is supportive as well as breathable. You may have water at your side. As a matter of fact, you should have water by your side in case you get dehydrated and you need to rehydrate during the workout. You're more than welcome to do so. Feel free to play music in the background to keep you motivated. Also, know that you will need at least one piece of equipment today if you choose to use it. And today with me, I have one of my resistance bands. It is the one with the least amount of tension. It has handles to it. However, if you do not have this exercise or piece of exercise equipment, you can opt for the alternative, which was a suggestion of getting knee highs or pantyhose and tying them together to your desired length. A good length again would be about the width of your arms, okay, so arm length from fingertip to fingertip, or you can do it from your feet to above your head. Just make it however long you need to make it so that you're able to have a piece of equipment to use and mimic the exercises as I'm going to show them to you with the equipment. You're also going to need a mat, or an alternative would be a beach towel. You don't have to have a mat or a beach towel, but you do need a firm, flat surface for the workout today. When checking us out on social media, please use and check us out on our YouTube channel as well as our Instagram page. We are also, of course, on the UMBC website. If for some reason during class you feel fatigued or you're experiencing some adverse reaction to whatever we're doing, please take the time to have a seat to the side, take a couple of deep breaths, and then rejoin me when you feel more comfortable and you feel like you're ready to do so. If you don't feel that way and you don't seem to be regaining your breath, if you've lost your breath, or you don't feel that comfort that you started out with, then you should consult with your physician to just make sure that everything is up to par and on the up and up with your health. All right, so we're going to start off with a warm-up. And today our focus is rotational movement. So we're going to talk about the transverse plane. The transverse plane is a plane that divides our top half of our body from the bottom half of our body. It is the way in which we rotate. It's how we rotate. When we're doing standing exercises or when we're playing sports like golf, okay, or baseball, or even tennis, all right? So these rotational movements or the movements that we're going to mimic today are going to help us to strengthen our transverse plane, or the muscles in the transverse plane, and we're going to use the transverse plane to help us, build and grow, or learn more about it as we build and grow those muscles. All right, so when you're ready, start with me. I'd like you to start with me, but if you're ready, which I hope you are, then we're going to start with our warm-up. So in 5 seconds, we're going to start with our marches. 4, 3, 2, 1. March it. Remembering your options. Low impact, closer to the ground. Higher impact, or more progressive. Knees come up a little bit higher. Okay? Just getting the blood flowing. Good. Now, some of our exercises in our warm-up today will be a bit rotational, but not all of them. Mainly, we want to just warm up the body to get it ready for what we're going to do. All right? 10 more seconds. Not quite 1 minute of warming up because we're going to do a couple rounds, but it's going to be enough to warm the entire body. 3, 2, 1, kick it forward. Remembering your option of progressive kick, waist height, arms up, okay? Breathe, pull your belly button in. Good. Keep that spine nice and tall. Ten seconds to go before we switch. And we're going to switch into some squats. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet hip width apart. Arms on our hips if you choose to, or up in the air. And let's squat down and stand up. The option of sit to stand using a high back chair or a step or a stool is also an option. Good, 15 seconds to go. Feet are flat. Weight is distributed between your big toe, pinky toe, and your heel for your squats. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Turn to the side if you need to. And let's do our high lunges. And let's step and push back. Step, push back. Keep your head up, chin off of your chest, look forward. Don't roll your shoulders forward and hunch, but keep them rolled back, chest out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we're going to do our quad stretch or kicks in 3, 2, 1. So, regress option, heel to glute. In a stepping motion, slower motion. Or you can feel, if you feel the need, you can run it in place. Same motion, just a little bit faster. And I'm just slowing it down to show you the options. 10 seconds to go. You can alternate as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Arms out to the side. Let's do our arm circles forward. And arm circles back. And forward again. And back. And stop. And arms down. Okay, let's do our arm reach stretch. So one arm is up, bent to the elbow, flat hand against the back. Other arm comes underneath. Fingertips attempt to touch, but they don't have to. And we're just stretching. So we've warmed up the body, we're getting a little blood flow. Now we're stretching the muscles, now that they're a little bit warm. Good. Switching. And when we stretch, we always want to make sure we hold each stretch for at least 15 seconds. if not a little bit longer. After the 15th second mark, feel free to deepen the stretch, okay? So that means that if we're doing this arm reach stretch, then we're trying to pull the fingertips closer together, as long as it doesn't cause you any major discomfort. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now we're going to open up our chest, pushing it forward, and now we're going to close in on the chest, pretending that we're holding a really big ball or a really big balloon, and we're stretching the upper back. Good. And holding it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Arms down at your sides and behind you, interlocking the fingers, pushing the back of the hands down, pushing the chest forward, looking up and forward. Okay, belly button is pulled in, stretching the front of the shoulders. Another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good, now let's do our IT stretch. So we bring our feet together, and then we're going to take one leg behind the other. So for me, I'm going to take my right leg behind my left. I'm going to take my right arm straight up into the air, fingers pointed, if you can see my shadow against the wall. Now I'm going to lean towards my left leg. Left side of my body, pushing my hip out towards the right, stretching the muscles all along the right side of my body, keeping my chest open, never trying to see the arm that's above my head in front of my face. Keeping my feet flat on the mat, breathing, crunching on the left side too. That also helps you to get into this position. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower that arm down, uncrossing the legs. Taking the left leg behind the right leg to do the same thing on the opposite side of the body. Feet are flat, left arm goes straight up, and that left arm is going to come over. Fingers are not curled, but outstretched as well. We want every muscle engaged in our workout. And whether they are the direct muscle that we're using or a muscle that is benefiting from the work that's being done, we want it to be in motion. We want it to be a part of the plan. And breathe. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit more of a warm-up, but in the second round of this warm-up, we're going to start to integrate some of those rotational movements. So we're going to start off with some jumping jacks for the next warm-up phase, and we're going to start to introduce the rotational movement. Part of this movement, okay, requires you to move opposite sides of the body at the same time. We call those contralateral movements. So it's like when you lift your right arm, but you kick out your left leg, okay? That's a contralateral movement. But if I cross the body, or if the top part of my body moves in one direction and the bottom part of my body moves in an opposite direction, then we call that a rotational movement, or using the transverse plane, right? So by that I mean, if I were to, just as a basic example, still lift my right arm, still lift my left leg, and I decide that I want to reach behind me, okay? Now I'm using my transverse plane. Awkward movement, not something we're going to do. It's just a bit of an example, okay? All right, so warm up with the jacks first. Then we're going to do a rotational movement as a part of our warm-up. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's jack it out. So, in addition to jumping, you can also come down to the regressed position. If you continue to jack, that's fine. Just remember that I may stop between rounds or sets or during the actual exercise to show options. Okay, so don't let that confuse you. All right? Breathe. 20 seconds. Ten, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Take a breather. After you've had a breath, come to a wide standing position. The legs are going to be wider than the hips. Arms are going to be stretched out to the sides. First rotation or transverse plane movement is we're going to take the right arm and using the core, we're going to keep our hips forward, but the core is going to allow us to twist and take our right hand to our left foot. Okay? Contralateral movement. One side of the body is moving. All right? So right arm is going to attempt to tap the foot of the left toe. Or, excuse me, the toes of the left leg. All right? Inhale and exhale. Okay? Come on up. And other side. Now we're going to use the left arm to tap the right foot. Okay? Hips are square, meaning they don't twist, they stay forward, and they almost stay in a locked position. Again, inhale and tap. Other side. Okay? If you're able to speed this up without getting dizzy, then by all means do so. Feet planted, arms shoulder height, not reaching behind you, but staying right to the outside where you can see them. You should see the thumb when you come to a standing position on either side. Good. Ten seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Arms down. All right? Feel pretty good? So we used our core. It's almost like a standing crunch to help us rotate and tap the opposite side of the body. Our lower back got a little bit of a stretch. We did not bend our knees, but we didn't lock them either. We kept them soft so that we would not strain any muscles on the outside or the inside of our knees as we did that rotational movement. All right? All right. Now it's for the second part of a little breather before we go into another rotational movement. We're going to do some 90-90 squats. 90-90 lunges. So turn into whatever direction you need to so that you have enough space. But when we lunge, we're actually going to step backwards. So we have been doing a lot of forward lunging, not much backward lunging. So hands on the hips. And we're going to pull our belly button in. Our feet are going to start together. Make sure you have space behind you. And what you're going to do is you're going to step back and drop down. Then push up and forward. Okay? So step back, drop down, push up and forward. Step back, drop down, push up and forward. So you need to bend those toes a little bit. If you find that you need to come to a knee, because you lost your balance or because you simply need a break, that's fine. Inhale, tuck your toes, push yourself up, and come back and get back into the groove of it. Head is up, looking forward, chin over your chest. Get those knees as low as you possibly can without major discomfort. If you need to go back to the regression with a higher lunge, then please do so. Don't feel forced to go farther than where your body is ready to go, okay? 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Okay, now for our second rotational exercise. This time, we're still going to be in a standing position, but we are going to not bring our top half of our body to our lower part of our body. We're now going to bring our lower part of our body to the top half of our body. So, with our arms outstretched, just like we did before, this time we're going to take left knee and bend the elbow or bend the arm of the right arm at the elbow and bring elbow to knee. Okay? So it's going to look like this. All right? Now, when we do this exercise, we're going to stay with one side, one contralateral side, before we move to the other contralateral side. We're not going to alternate. Okay? So we're going to do a number of them with the right arm, left leg, before we switch sides and do a number of them with the left arm, right leg. Okay? So, because I started with the right, I'm going to shift to my left, and we're going to start with our left together. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So notice I'm keeping my feet forward. I'm not turning my leg out, my static leg out. My left leg also has a bit of movement in it to help me with this rotation, with this pull. That's what I'm doing in the front of my body, towards the front of my body. 3, 2, and 1. Take a breather. And we're going to switch sides. Right arm, left leg. And here we go. Ten seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Lower your arms down. Very good. Okay, now we're going to transition back to a warm-up move and do squats, okay? So, remember your favorite squat position with your arms, either up, on your hips, either way, or if you need to do the regressive move and do a sit to stand, that's fine as well. In 3, 2, and 1. Squat down. Stick those glutes back and come on up. Remember, think of dirty toilet and you stand up. You don't sit on it, you simply squat over it. Okay? Notice that I have my hands on my hips. If I ever forget what I should be doing, I can always do a little push on the front of my hip. Okay? Just a little push. Hinging at the hip, bending at the knees, sticking the glutes back. Good. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I just want to say something a little bit, quick caveat. Squats. Just because I say legs underneath your hips, that doesn't necessarily work well for every single person. Sometimes doing squats for some people it works out much better if their legs are a little bit wider than their hips, okay? Also, another option is if a person is finding it very difficult or very uneasy to squat with their toes forward, another option would be to do like a plie, all right? So you turn your toes out. But the key is no matter which position you're in, knees over your ankles. So even if I did a plie squat and simply came down, my chest would remain more upright than with the hinge position from a static squat, or the squat where my legs are underneath my hips, okay, or at least shoulder width apart. So with that being said, know that you have the options. You just may have to try and find error in the ones that do not work, and try and find where it fits the best for you with the ones that do work. So again, if you need to, this squat, where your legs are at least hip width apart, if not shoulder width apart, a little bit wider, does not work for you, then you can either come just a tad wider, because not everybody's built the same, and do a squat, okay? Just remember, knees, see my knees are still over my ankles. And if you decide to turn your toes out, you keep your heel down, you turn one toe out, you keep your heel down on the other leg, turn the toe out, and you simply drop down. That's another squat option. You're not going to hinge in any way for that squat. You simply bend at the knees, knees still over my ankle. Okay? All right, that was just a little sidebar. Going back to the workout, now we're going to do our rotational movement. So what I want to do is I want to use a piece of my equipment for this. And I want to show you an exercise. Again, the same exercise can have many names. So if I call it a name and you think to yourself, that's not what I heard it being called before, just think of the fact that I've taught you a new name for this exercise. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one foot underneath my band or my pantyhose, more in the middle, okay, in the middle of the resistance band. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and I'm going to take the two ends, or the two sides, not the handles are upright, and I'm going to hold them at the sides. So right where the strap is, I'm going to hold them at the sides of the strap as opposed to at the handles. Get a good grip on them. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this band across my body, okay, across my body, and I'm also going to show you how to lunge into it a little bit. So, wood chop is typically the name of this exercise. However, it may be called something different by others. My feet are going to be flat, toes are going to be forward. And when I lift this band, know that you can do it a couple of different ways. Now, you can do it where you're simply lifting the band across the body, okay, with a small twist, okay, to get it above your head. So it's a small twist and reach, and then bring it down, okay, back at the side, usually on the outside of your hip. So you have a small twist coming back to the other side. So let's try this first. If you're not trying with me, try it with me. Anything I demonstrate, I want you to try it with me, okay? All right, so band at my side. I know I started in front, but you can do that as well. But band at your side is where we ended. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist again. Knees are soft, not locked. Arms above my head, and I can kind of look up at it like a shining star. And then bring it back down, okay? Elbows are soft. Very gentle exercise, it's meant to be. So don't strain yourself. Inhale, exhale, pull. And take your time and pull. Don't be too fast. If it's new to you, especially if it's new to you. If you're relearning it, take your time and relearn it, okay? Always start off slow with an exercise. New or revisited, start off slow. Because you never know how your body may react. You think, oh, I've done this many times. I know how to do this. and then you start it up again, and then you find yourself straining yourself. And you're going, but I've done this many times. Sometimes the body just needs to prepare, and we don't prepare the body. We simply just shove the body into what we want it to do. All right, 3 more. 2. And 1 more. Okay, so hips remain square. I did not do this and twist and come up. So I didn't twist my hips and come up above my head. I simply controlled the movement. Because I ended here after the first one, I then started there and lift across the body. Okay, feet are forward. My left knee is slightly turned. My obliques, my abs are helping me with the rotation. Coming back down to my hip. All right, before we change sides now, I'm going to show you that you can lunge into this position. So if you find that just pulling up from the core and extending throughout the arms is a bit too much, then what you can do is you can bend the knee. It gives you a little bit more give in the strap, and then bend the knee and come up across the body. Okay, so you got a little bit of a lateral lunge going. More leg movement, okay? So you can do that as well. All right, lunge to the left, a little bit more give, then to the right and pull up. And only pull as far as you feel comfortable. If you know you have a shoulder issue that, sometimes flares up and bothers you, don't aggravate it. You want to exercise or strengthen the muscles around it. So you don't want to not use those muscles simply because they get aggravated, sometimes, especially if you have doctor's clearance, okay? Doctor's clearance first. You want to strengthen those muscles by working them gently. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Lunge to the side, lunge, bring it up. Good. All right. You may feel a little bit of soreness in your shoulders. You may feel a little bit of your abs awakening as well as your obliques. You may feel your legs waking up too, and that's okay. Now we're going to do the other side. Other side. So we started out in front about chest height. We're wider, a little bit wider than the hips, a little bit wider than the shoulders, a little bit. And now we're going to stay firm, feet planted. Legs are long, not bending, but knees are soft. And here we go. Pull it up, twist. Remember, looking up at it like it's a shining star. And we're just doing 30 seconds on each side in each exercise. Started it off slowly, so it looked like we did a little bit more on the other side, but it was just slow. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we're going to do that lateral push to the right and to the left. Knees bending as we lift the strap up or press the strap across the body, okay? All right, here we go. So we give it a little give to the right side before you fully extend it up and lunge to the left. And a little bend in your knee, a little bit. $15 more seconds. You can do it. Fully come down, fully come up. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. All right, so that's another rotational exercise that you can do with your band. All right, so now we're going to do a bit of a warm-up exercise, or at this point in the workout, it's more like a transitional exercise. And our transitional exercise today is going to be our high knees. All right, so we've done our low kicks. We've done our halftime knee lifts, okay, or our progressive knees. But now we're going to do our high knees, okay? So let me say that again. We did the progressive marches. We've done our halftime slow lift of the knees, waist height. But now we're going to do high knees. So because high knees can be a bit of an intense transition exercise, we are not going to do it for an extended period of time. It's only for 15 seconds. But we're going to do it for 2 rounds because I want you to kind of build up your heart rate, accelerate your heart rate just a little bit before we end up doing the next thing. Also, this is not a tough workout. It's very easy, okay? It's not taking too much out of you, I hope. And it's just telling you or teaching you another part of the body that you don't think you use or don't think you need to use, but you do need to use it, and you should use it on a regular basis. All right, so high knees. Looks a little like this. You're going to bring your knees up to the front in a running fashion. Okay? If that is not up your alley, single, single. Knee height is what we're going for. All right? Here we go. Just for 15 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, we're going to do that again. We're going to do it again, okay? And I know that you may hear my feet because I'm on this mat, but there should be no stomping when your feet land. Stay on your toes. Heels are up. In 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Very good. Take a breather, grab some water, and let's come on down to our mat. Gently though. All right, so we have done the following before, and you can feel free to do it with me again, but the rotational exercise that we have done in this position is we've taken our right knee, kicked it forward on the outside of the nearest arm. So my right leg has come to a 90-degree position on the outside of my right arm. Then what we did is we took our outside arm, our left arm in this case, we swung it up and we looked up. Rotational movement, okay? Then we held it for 15 seconds, breathing. Before we switched. Okay, let's switch to the other side. And let's open up our chest and lift our arm up and look up. Come on down. Good. Well, we're going to grow from this position, and we're going to do a plank. Similar movement, just in a plank position. Now, please remember the option of coming to a plank position, toes are tucked, hips are down, belly button parallel with the mat, then dropping to your knees from here. Now, this is a transition from what we just did because we don't have a leg that's going to be kicked forward to help us balance. But we're simply going to open up, taking one arm off of the mat, rotating so that our chest is open to the side of the arm that is lifted, and holding. And then we're going to lower down, and we're going to switch to the other side and do the same thing. Inhale and exhale, rotate. And lower. Okay? Now notice I did not shift back when I lifted. I simply stayed in my regressed plank position when I rotated and lifted my arm. So please don't shift your weight back when you do this exercise on the mat. If you find yourself shifting back into that all fours position, where your arms are right underneath your shoulders and your knees are right underneath your hips, and it's not a plank position. That means you don't feel a little bit of a quiver in your abdomens because they're not working, because they're resting, because you're not far out enough. Then you can come to the wall and do something similar with you having to stay far back from the wall to hold the rotation. So, before I show you the full plank exercise rotation on the mat, I want to show it to you on the wall. So what that means is we will come to our wall placement or wall push-up position, hands on the outside of the chest. Fingers spread wide, palm is flat. And then we would step back a few feet, okay? So our arms are fully extended, all right? Now what we would do is, while balancing on one arm, both feet are going to be down on the mat, heels down, we're then going to rotate, okay? Now, I must tell you, if you are more advanced in your exercise regimen, you may feel like this is nothing. Like, you can do this all day and you feel comfortable doing it all day. So this is for those, you can switch sides if you're trying with me, which you should be trying with me. This is for those who, again, are healing from shoulder injuries, they have rotator cuff injuries, or they just have a part of the body that just needs a little bit more of a regression as opposed to the progression of every exercise. This option is for you, okay? So you can come to the wall and do that. All right, and then finally, again, trying it with me. Hands on the mat to full plank position. Toes are tucked. Now, we're going to hold it for a few seconds before we lift up the left arm and twist and rotate. Okay? And switch to the other side. And come back to plank. Drop your knees and rest. Now you might be saying, Paula, this doesn't look similar to what we did standing up with the knee crossing the body. How is this a transverse plane exercise? Well, it's kind of not. It's building you up for the transverse plane exercise. Because when you're in the plank position, we can do something called mountain climbers. Now, we've done mountain climbers, we tried it before, but that would be more of a transverse plane exercise, especially when you bring the elbow to the knee. So, first let's try the rotation, then we will build into the mountain climber, and then we will cool down, because that's a good way to go out. Go out with a bang, all right? All right, so hands underneath your shoulders. Get ready for that plank position, whether it's going to be the full plank or the regress plank, or you're going to be on the wall. You're going to extend your legs, toes are tucked. Now, let's get ready to rotate, and let's open up our chest and hold. This is the full plank position. More of a transverse plank position when you're down on your knees. And let's come back to plank. And let's rotate to the other side. Good. And let's come on down. Drop to your knees. All right, so when we are down on our knees, more of a transverse plane. Pull up on our toes. Less so. But here's where we're learning. So if you're in your regressed plank position, we are now going to learn how to bring opposite, again, elbow to knee, okay? And we're going to do it repetitively. So knee, 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 cross the body, crossing plane, okay? And then we're going to do this on the other side. Left arm, right knee, 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 knee. Stretch. All right? Sit back and rest. I will also show it to you in a full plank position so you can see that as well. But know that good core, good strong core is necessary. So if you're not up for that just yet, then just stay with the regress plank position. All right? So first, full-on mountain climbers, come onto the plank position. Try it with me first before you automatically say no. And belly button parallel with the mat. And let's bring the right knee up, left knee up. Right, left. Now cross them, bring them across the body. Three, 2, 1, and rest. Very good. All right, now we can do either option. Regressed option, elbow to knee, or full plank option, knee crosses to the opposite elbow. You can do the same thing on the wall, but do know that that is a very regressed position, and be sure that you're far from the wall, farther from the wall, so your knees will not hit. So my hands are against the wall, fully extended, palms are flat. So if I cross, using the core to twist, keeping my hands on the wall at all times. Okay? All right, so let me show you forward. All right? All right, so let's try one set of those, a cool down, and then our 3 breaths. All right? So get into regress plank, standing position against the wall, or full plank. Remember to bring opposite knee to opposite elbow. Keep good form, and it's only for 15 seconds. All right? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Knees down, and let's do a child's pose. Good job, guys. Good job. And let's breathe. Good. One more. Very nice. All right, let's come up to all fours. And let's do our rotational stretch, the one we just tried. Take your left leg. This time, let's start with the left leg. Kick it to the outside of the left arm. Rotate the right arm. Twist. Good. Bring that arm down, and let's switch. Right arm comes to the outside of the right hand, and rotate. Good. 3, 2, 1. Bring that arm down. Very nice. Okay, let's come to our seated position. Legs out, stretched out. No wider than the mat. And I want you to sit up nice and tall. And I want you to take both arms out to the side. And I want you to inhale And I want you to exhale and twist. Now your left arm should be right over your right leg, hopefully. If not, try to get it there. And I want you to push or lean forward to grab your toes while your right arm stays behind you. So we twist it to the right. My left arm is reaching, grabbing, touching my toes, pulling. And my right arm is still behind me. Left arm is grabbing right toes. Right arm is behind, hanging out. I'm feeling a stretch in the upper back behind my shoulder blade. And I'm just breathing. I'm also looking behind me at the right arm. One more breath. Good. Now I'm going to come on up. I'm going to twist back to the front. I'm going to reset myself. And I'm going to twist to the other side. Grab the toes, right hand, grab the left toes. And we're going to look back at the left arm and breathe. Very good. And come on up and twist back to the front. Great. That's a great exercise to stretch muscles that cross the body. And stretch muscles in the upper and the lower body at the same time. All right, if you'll sit crisscross applesauce with me, we'll do our 3 breaths. So inhale and exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Great job today. Thank you for joining me for some rotational movement. Don't forget to keep at it, okay? And get lots of water, eat a good, healthy diet, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.